So what's up, everybody? You guys know who I am. It's your boy Primetime. I got my man Tone with me.
What's up, everybody? How
What
you guys doing?
what's up? Yeah,
Patriots Nation, rise up.
yeah, facts. Yeah. So as you guys know, I talked about in my live the other day. I'm gonna do a podcast, episode 1 of EndZone Pats. Yes, EndZone Pats, where we talk nothing about the Patriots, all about the Patriots, and just football in general, man. And without further ado, let's just get into it, man. And so far, this free agency, bro. I mean, hey, for us Patriot fans, what can we say? It's been exciting, but yet stressful. What do you think, Tony, bro?
Well, I think it's been a little of both as well. I think it's been pretty exciting considering where we've been the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe even more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even more than the past 2 years.
Right, 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 right,
So I feel pretty good about what we've done.
right,
And
right.
I know a lot of fans, myself included, were looking for some different moves, especially on offense.
Yeah. But
So
go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
what I was saying is, like, as a Patriots fan, someone who goes to games all the time,
Right.
as you know, I was out in the game in Arizona in December.
Yeah, and we were in the preseason in week 2 against Seattle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I went to Arizona 2 years ago as well, see them play. So,
Right.
as a longtime fan who goes to the games, you want to see a better product on the field.
For sure, for sure.
So, I understand that fans are frustrated. We didn't upgrade the offense just yet, but you also have to understand free agency just started,
Right,
and the
right.
Patriots had so many holes, and the roster was so in need of an update that you're not going to be able to do all that we needed to do
Right,
in that
right.
short period of time.
Right, right,
So
right.
there's still time. There's still moves to be made. Let's just sit back and see what we end up doing.
Right. Now, the one signing that really did reach out to me, that I really like so far, though, it's like you said, even though we didn't really like do a lot on offense, but I am, and you guys hear me talk about it all the time. I really love the Morgan Moses signing because, one, not only has he been, a veteran a long time and has been able to be productive, but he has been able to stay healthy, even being 34 years old, which I believe. And last time I checked, let me just get this. He's been able to stay healthy, though. He was dealing with an injury last year. He played through it, and not to mention, if you got a guy like that in your locker room, and speaking of a guy like that in the locker room, as you know, David Andrews has been released as well, and we've been wondering like, oh, who's gonna step up as the captain of the offensive line and captain in that locker room. That's where a guy like Morgan Moses comes in, and so the thing is, I really am stoked about that. His track record speaks for himself. We could do more, but at the same time, as as the Patriots side of things goes, the Patriots like to go young and this and that. So I'm looking at his grade, 81.8 PFF, and he ranks sixth among right tackles. That's a solid, signing by the New England Patriots right there. The thing is, what I like about him is that he's gonna give those young guys whoever the Patriots draft, maybe it is Will Campbell or maybe if it's someone from in the third round, whoever we draft, he's gonna be that veteran guy, that captain that David Andrews was for the past 20 years or 10, excuse me. So yeah, what do you think about Morgan Moses though?
I like the Morgan Moses signing as well.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I'm looking for somebody who's already on the team
Right,
to step up and be that leader. Not saying that I'm hoping Morgan Moses isn't able to be a leader.
right,
I just want to see someone who's already been there step up and be that leader. Now, let's not forget that we have Doug Marone now as the offensive line coach.
right, right,
We also have Dante Scarnecchia back as an advisor.
right, right,
So if we get some of the guys that we had last year playing in the proper position,
right, right,
I feel that the offensive line as a whole will improve.
right,
So it's a matter of finding out who's going to play what position and keep them there so we can have some continuity and stability along that offensive line. Let me ask you this. Out of the players that we lost in free agency,
okay.
who do you feel will feel their loss the most? and
I
why?
I think I feel like hold on. It's a hard question because, as you know, we lost Jonathan Jones, Dietrich Wise, and Patriots released David Andrews. So if you had to ask me, right, I love all three of those guys. I love what they've done for the team over the years. But if I had to pick one, it's David Andrews.
I feel that Morgan Moses is a very good signing. He's
Mm-hmm.
better than anything we've had on the offensive line last year. Ben Brown, a great addition last year. Glad we re-signed him. Looking forward to what he can do under new coaching. Really, really happy about that.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him as well.
Yeah.
So when I asked you which players or which player that we
Right.
lost that you feel we would miss the most,
Right. Right. Right.
is mine is David Andrews as well
Okay. Mm-hmm.
for several different reasons.
Right.
So for one, David Andrews, very solid player. If I'm not mistaken, he was undrafted.
Right. Yep. He was undrafted, and he was from Georgia. Shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs. Woof
Very
woof.
solid player.
Yep.
Uh, very great career. Very happy for him. Um, I've heard rumors. I don't know if it's true or not that
Okay.
he's contemplating retirement. So I don't know if that led to the decision to having him released or not.
Right. Right.
So if that's the case, then okay, I respect it.
Okay.
Otherwise, if the plan was to get younger, then what is he, 31 ish?
I think so. I'll look up the stats. I'm not the stats. I mean the his age right now. But go ahead. You talking?
So I want to say, he came in what, 2015, I want to say.
Right. Right.
So if the plan is to get younger, you let him walk or you release him, but
Right.
you sign Morgan Moses who's 34.
Right. Right. Right.
If the
Right.
plan is to get younger, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
He's a solid player, always has been, very consistent, and he's a leader and a captain.
Right. He's 32, by the way.
32.
Okay.
So it doesn't make any sense unless he plans on retiring, which is something that I heard on WEEI as him potentially retiring.
Right.
So
Right.
if that's the case, okay. But for the reasons that I said, he's a leader. He's very competent.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to see him go. I plus it's a position of need more so than cornerback like Jonathan Jones. I like Jonathan
Right. Right.
Jones a
Right.
lot.
Right.
I was really hoping we kept him too, but at least we have more depth there than we do on the offensive line.
The thing is with the Jonathan Jones thing, right? As I said earlier, I appreciated what him, Dietrich, and you know, David Andrews done for the team for the past years. I just felt like it was time for him to go. However, I wasn't against the fact of re-signing him because of we need veterans in the locker room. That's where the Patriots kind of lacked last year, especially with our receiving group. Why Javon Baker and Jalen Polk were like boasting and whatnot.
Well, I agree, but part of me has a hard time judging too many of these guys based on last year
Right.
because I don't think that they were coached properly last year
Facts. Facts.
for the most part. So anybody who had a good year, I kind of commend them. Like what Keishawn Booty did,
Yep.
to me was commendable. What he did in that offense. Not saying that his numbers were off the page, but considering he was on the bubble to make the roster to begin with, for him to have the type of performance that he did in that offense, I thought that was commendable. Drake May, tremendous job
Okay.
considering what he had to deal with as well. With the lack of continuity on the offensive line, lack of offensive weapons, being a rookie, learning a new system with a rookie head coach
Right.
and
Right.
a first time offensive coordinator. So any achievements that they made to me was commendable for those guys.
Okay.
Now on the defensive side of the ball, there were a lot of veterans there. So I kind of expected a little more from some of those guys.
Right.
The only one I can think of offhand right now that I kind of give a little pass to is Kyle Duggar.
Okay. Yep.
He didn't have the greatest year, but
And,
he was also injured.
and yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. He was battling through an ankle injury, so you
That's what I was
yeah.
gonna say. He could have, just taken a year off. They weren't going anywhere, but he battled through and continued playing.
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how much of it was coaching, how much of it was the players. So I give my hat off to him because he did battle through injuries and continued playing.
Yeah, of course. And, hopefully, we do get to see Kyle Duggar come back and perform, you know, at the safety position that you and I both know that he is a beast at. But let's talk about, we already talked about Morgan Moses, but let's kind of talk about the agents that we signed on Monday during the tampering period. What we grade them from, A to F, of course. F being the bad and A being like, the greatest. You get what I'm saying. So far the Patriots have signed Milton Williams, which was a surprising one, Carlton Davis, Harold Landry, Josh Dobbs, quarterback from the 49ers, and hold up, we also were able to sign Robert Spillane. So much more that we signed. But so far, let's just talk about the ones I just named so far. I'm going to give my take on them. So, first off, with Milton Williams, look, Elliot Wolf is just keeping us company here. So, yeah, so with Milton Williams, right, this one was a surprising for me because the thing is, right, when I talk about, the Patriots and, the situation of the team, right? Let me remind you, we were projected not to sign no talent on both offense and defense. So you bring a guy like Milton Williams in to help out the defensive line. Not to mention just he was the best defensive tackle on the market. Let me remind you. So for the Patriots to go ahead and sign a guy like this, you know that tells me that Mike Vrabel, and yes, Mike Vrabel. I'm not giving credit to Elliot Wolf just yet, though. Even though he might have been in those meetings, but I'm not gonna give credit to him because from what we hear, is he, my friends, yes, he has been the one that's been making the pitches and making the players come here pretty much. Now, the thing is, right, with Milton Williams, I thought the Panthers were gonna get him, bro. Like you can even back me up on this. We were going back and forth all day, not trash talking, but like we thought he's already going to the Panthers, and even Adam Schefter even posted it like he's likely to sign with the Panthers. They're finalizing a deal, and funny thing was I was just making a video about that, and before I posted it, right, and I believe this was like 16 minutes after when you and I got done talking on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I literally called you back, and did I not say, "Yo, Milton Williams just signed to the Patriots"?
Yes, and I was kind of arguing with you because I had already seen the report that he signed with Carolina.
Yeah, it was funny because the thing was right. I remember your reaction. You was like, "Oh, get out of here! You bugging, bro? What are you talking about?" I was like, "Nah, I'm not kidding. Check Ian Rappaport. Go on Twitter. Go Adam Schefter and whatnot." The thing was the fact that when I look back on it, right, the whole concern was like, "Oh, we kind of overpaid for him." But you see, you knew the situation into free agency. We're gonna have to overpay for people because one, the taxes are crazy here. Number two, right? In order to build from the ground up, you got to go through the trenches. Now the thing is, right? Could we have done more offensively? Sure, but as for the Milton Williams side and the defense, I love it. I don't think that we're having a bad offseason so far till now. I shouldn't say, till now because we still don't know what's going to happen in the coming days. Free agency's not over, right? Got to trade for somebody. And there's still good people out there on the market, both on the offensive line and, defensive line. But we need to talk about the defensive line. But I give this signing an A plus because, you had Bentley out for injuries. Barmore was, barely there. I hope Barmore comes back healthy because not to mention you got Keon White, Barmore, Milton Williams, Harold Landry, and you got Jeremiah Farms to help out. So I give this signing an A plus.
I give this an A plus as well. So here's my reason for it though.
Go ahead.
So I hear a lot of people saying, and we heard this all off season, the Patriots are going to have to pony up additional funds to get anybody through the door,
Right, right,
which I fully understand. You're in a situation where you're not winning a lot of games, so it's not an appealing destination for free agents. I
right, right.
fully understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But yet and still, I saw some reports after the Patriots did pay up for Milton Williams. I saw many reports that said, "Oh, the Patriots overpaid for him." We had to overpay for him.
Exactly. Yeah,
He was
yeah.
already signing a deal with Carolina. We had to overpay for him, and that's the only way we're going to get talent through these doors. That level of talent, we have to overpay for him.
The thing was, there was a bidding war between Arizona, the Cardinals, and the Panthers. The thing was, the Patriots were involved, but from what I hear, right, or from what I heard, excuse me, that they wanted to see, okay, what's gonna be their highest, mark they can go, because you can only spend so much money. And let me remind you, right, I just had it here, where the Patriots stand in the cat space, but as far as I hear, that there was a bidding war going on, and then
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when you say where we stand as far as cap space, you mean now or at the time?
now,
Okay.
okay, now we got that cleared. Anyway, right, it seems that Carolina was getting ready to, pretty much win the bidding war here. But the Patriots are like, nah, screw it. I'm gonna go ahead and just give him, I'm gonna make him the highest paid defensive tackle in the league. And you guys know, as we saw from Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, right, that he has been the highest paid defensive tackle in Patriot history, just above Tom Brady. Now, the thing was, right, when I heard that story, I was just saying, okay, they're cooking in the office. Elliot Wolf, not nope, because I don't want Elliot Wolf here to be stumbled. Let me chill. Let me chill. Okay. Anyway, Mike Vrabel and the rest of the free agency team, as Mike Vrabel said in his conference when introducing the new free agents, um, that him, Elliot, and the rest of the guys were out there, pivoting and doing all this.
No, I was asking you about the cap situation. That's why I kept checking my phone as well. A report came up as to the teams with the most available cap space now, and I didn't get a chance to fully check it out as I was walking through the door. So, do the Patriots still have the most amount of cap space left? Do you know?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
but as far as what you call it, um, I saw it earlier today. I wish I could have what you call it saved it here on my laptop. But what I read this morning was the fact that the Patriots, had like 88.8 million still in cap. All right, moving on. Robert Spillane, linebacker from the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, from what I hear, right, and to be fair, guys, I didn't watch too much tape on him, but I am a stat researcher, and I love to really dig deep on players because there are only so much players in the NFL. You can't really keep up with everybody. But after watching highlights from him and you know looking at his stats overall and where his success was with Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels when he was both with Titans and the Raiders. This dude's a beast. He's good in coverage. He tackles like a monster. Now the thing was because I don't know too much about him, right? But from what I saw, I'm gonna be fair here. I'm gonna give it a B minus. It's only because I don't know too much about him, and from what people had told me in the comment section on TikTok, that yo, you guys got a dog, you guys got our best linebacker. At least from what the Raiders fans, said. So that's my only take on him.
So my take is like this:
Go ahead, bro. To cook.
After signing Milton Williams,
Mm-hmm.
Not that we signed him first, but after the signing of Milton Williams, to me, everybody else that we signed defensively gets a high grade because Milton Williams makes everybody else better.
Okay.
So, because of the fact that from everything that I've read on each of the other defensive players that we signed, they're known for speed
Yep.
and instincts to the ball. So it goes to what Mike Vrabel said he wanted to have an attacking style defense.
Right.
So that's all going to be predicated on Milton Williams and his role in this defense.
Right.
So if you have Milton Williams alongside a healthy Barmore, along with Keon White and some of these other additions,
Mm-hmm.
you got to pick your poison as to who you're going to double team. So that's going to free up somebody all the time to get home.
Right.
So I I really that's why I'm so high on the Milton Williams signing. That's why that one's an A plus. All the other signings just complement that signing to me.
Okay. All right. That's fair. For the sake of, like I said, him alone, you feel me? What you call it? I gave him a B plus because I like what I seen on him in film, but I don't know too much about him. But that's fair. So yeah, that does it for Robert Spillane. Moving on, we signed a wide receiver yesterday. Wait, was it yesterday or the day before?
Day
Yeah,
before.
maybe day before. Mac Hollins from the Buffalo Bills. Now, from what I hear, right? Like I said, I'm not. I know a lot about him, but at the same time, I don't. He's a solid receiver. I like him. Maybe not a number one like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and all them dudes, bro. But he is a solid receiver. If I had to put him on the team, he would probably be number two. As far as like the way that he dresses, coming into the building barefooted and everything else, I like that. The Patriots got a guy that's gonna be good for the locker room and perform at the level that he's performing. He had a solid season in Buffalo. Almost made it to the Super Bowl. Losing to Kansas City. He was really productive. I give this. I'm gonna be fair again. C plus. So back to what I was saying about Mac Hollins, right? C plus only because of the fact that like I said, because yeah, he's not a wide receiver one. He is solid. I'm not hating on the dude's talent. He did good last year in Buffalo. He had 31 receptions with 378 yards and averaged 12.2 yards after the catch, and I mean 5 touchdowns. Um, his best year, however, was with the Raiders. He in that year when he had Josh McDaniels, he had 57 receptions, 690 yards. He averaged 12.1 yards after the catch, and had only 4 touchdowns. If you got a guy like him in the locker room, a veteran, and not to mention he is 31 years old, around the same age as Cooper Cup, and Devontae Adams. The thing is, when he comes here, he's gonna be in Josh McDaniels' system because Josh McDaniels is gonna cook up, more schemes for Drake May because a new era for offense, where quarterbacks can run and throw the ball, and we've seen that in Drake May, and I think that with this signing, right, you know, I don't hate it. Feel like we could have done better, and so that's the reason why I have Matt Collins at a C plus.
I like excuse me. I like the Holland signing as far as a veteran voice in the locker room.
Yep.
He's a consistent player. He's never been the number one. He's not projected to be number one in our system.
Right.
So I think he'll be a very solid addition to our team.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at it like this. So if we go into the season
You
with the
don't.
receivers that we currently have on the roster,
I'm sorry, y'all. It's just a motorcycle went past us. You guys won't be able to hear much of it though. But go ahead.
if we go into the season with the, which we're not, if we go into the season with the receivers that we currently have on the roster only, what is his projection?
Okay, I get what you're saying.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, what is he? Probably the number Two.
Yeah, number two. But our current number one is, as we talked about, Kendrick Bourne. And and a lot of Buffalo fans were in my comments on TikTok were like, "Oh, you guys got a good one, this and that. You guys took him from us." And I'm like, what's up the big deal here? Don't you didn't you guys just drafted Keon Coleman last year, and who has been, in my opinion, your receiver one? At least from this is just how I feel like. If you're so upset about us taking him, right? It seems that he was like your number one over there, or you guys just, or he was just like what Kendrick Bourne was over here. Like, how we love him and he's good for the culture. I don't know, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. I think it's more like he's a fan favorite. People tend to respect players that just come to work and do their job and have fun and are dedicated to their craft. Like how we were talking about David Andrews.
Yep.
David Andrews, as solid as he is, believe it or not, I don't know how he never made a Pro Bowl. But guess what? Around New England, he's revered.
Yep.
Great player. Gonna miss him. So it's like that. For Hollins probably in Buffalo, people respect what he does, and they know that if he was in a different situation, he would get more targets. Like in New England, he'll get more targets than he would in Buffalo. So my concern, not necessarily with Hollins, but with the offense is, okay, you had a chance to get Cooper Cup at least to an extent. The only way it sounds like we would have gotten Cooper Cup is if we overpaid for him, because by all accounts, he wanted to stay on the West Coast. He was born in Washington, went to school in Washington, and it sounded like the only way he was going to leave the West Coast is if we really overpaid for him. So it didn't sound like he was going to leave the West Coast.
Right.
I really wanted us to get Cooper Cup because I really like his style of play. I don't think there's too
Mm-hmm.
many receivers who really attack the football the way he does, and I like that about him.
Right. Right.
So where does that leave us as far as receivers go?
Okay.
That's
Yep.
what I want to know from you.
Okay. So there's still Stephon Diggs. And this is a fan favorite. Well, I shouldn't say fan favorite, but known to Patriot fans, Brandon Cooks and Amari Cooper. I'm more okay. Before we talk about who do we prefer, right? I gotta get your grade on the Mac Hollins side though. So, what's your grade on Mac Hollins?
I like Mac Hollins. It's hard for me to give that one a grade,
Okay.
and this is the reason why, because I don't know where he's projected in our offense.
Okay. All
He's
right.
not our number one. So where is he projected? As as you just said, is he going to replace Kendrick Bourne? Is
I don't think so. Nah.
but
In my opinion, I don't think so. But go ahead.
we're not going into the season with Kendrick Bourne as our number one. And I got nothing against Kendrick Bourne, but we're not going into the season with Kendrick Bourne as our number one. That shouldn't be the case.
Okay.
We even if we draft, uh,
Like Ted McMillan or Travis Hunter.
yeah, if we draft one of those guys, we still need a veteran. That way, I like Hollins in that situation. I like Bourne in that situation. But it's hard for me to grade this. I like him,
Right. 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 Right.
but for me to give it a letter grade, I have a hard time doing that because I don't know where he projects right now.
So at this moment for you, not sure. I'll give you that. But as for me, C plus. Moving on, and this is one that I really like a lot. Carlton Davis the third, CB, who played on the Lions last year with Terrell Williams, who is currently our new defensive coordinator. I love this signing because he was a very solid CB last year for the Lions. He was great for the Lions. Let me stop right there. And he was great in Tampa. He won a ring with Tom Brady there. And I love that the Patriots got a guy. And not to mention he is 28 years old. He's still young. If anything, he was like at least top 15 last year. I don't want to put him on a pedestal too much because, to be fair, before filming this, right, I should have done much of my research as possible. But from what I've seen from him over the years in Tampa and what he did in Detroit, who is, still in his prime, to pair up with Gonzo, our secondary is going to be nasty. Just as long as, of course, as we said earlier, with Kyle Duggar and we haven't even talked about Jabril Peppers yet. Our corner room is all set. To me, this is an A plus.
Yeah, I love that signing as well. I love the Carlton Davis signing. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this. He was the number one cornerback available in
Yes.
free agency.
No, no,
No,
no, no, no, no. I thought he was gonna ask if he was the number one CB and with the Lions.
no.
That's how I was good. Then that if that was the question, yes. But as far as the number one, Charvarius Ward, which the Patriots wanted to go after, but
Okay.
we ended up signing Carlton Davis, which from what I hear, this was all Elliot Wolf. Thank you, Elliot Wolf, for once for getting us a solid player. Yeah, so uh Charvarius Ward was the number one corner on the market
Okay.
who eventually signed with the Colts, you know. But here's the thing: the Patriots wanted to go after Charvarius Ward, but like I said, we ended up getting Carlton Davis. Either way, I'm happy with it. As you guys hear from my statement here, I really love this. I hope he doesn't get injured, and plus Gonzo even took it to Instagram, and he loves the signing, and this is gonna be great.
Well, the reason I was asking is because we got Milton Williams. He might have been the number one overall free agent. Period.
Okay.
From what I'm hearing. So we got him. We got Carlton Davis, and all the other pieces just fall into line.
Right.
So I love the way our defense is coming together. And don't forget, we re-signed Jalen Hawkins as well.
Yes, I
We
forgot
re-signed
about that.
him.
Yep.
So we have some depth in the secondary and along that defense overall. So I really like what we're doing with the defense. Now it's time to do that with the offense.
I am still high on Javon Baker. I'm gonna give Polk a pass, but we'll get to that later in the video. But as for now,
Well, who on our roster do you look at as a true number one? Because nobody on our roster right now is a number one.
okay, that's a fair point. But the thing is, right, when I look at a number one receiver, right, I look at guys that can catch the ball in contested situations. I look at a guy that can get open downfield. I look at a guy that can make plays for the quarterback and, be a reliable target, like kind of like how Hunter Henry was all season for Drake May. Even though he's not a receiver, but, he was able to, catch the ball, not drop it, and the thing is, right, that's what I look at in a receiver one.
Okay, so based on those statements, when's the last time the Patriots had a number one that could do any of the things you just mentioned?
Well, let's not forget Julian
And
Edelman.
how old were you at that point? Yo,
We can't forget about Julian Edelman.
listen, I love Julian Edelman, but Julian Edelman hasn't played since what, COVID?
Yeah, you're right, but yeah, he's retired for crying out loud.
That's what I'm trying to say. So when's the last time we had a receiver to fit that criteria? So all the guys we just mentioned, although they're advanced in age,
And by the
it would
way,
still be number one in Foxborough.
I was 7. Well, when we first lost the Super Bowl, but when I saw Julian Edelman come in, right, he was just and not to mention when Julian Edelman came in, he played DB on defense and he was a punt returner as well. It worked his way up to be a receiver one. And there's another thing that I didn't know that he played quarterback in college.
Was it Kent State? I believe it was. I think it
Yeah,
was Kent State. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
I never knew that. But though he was originally a quarterback,
Right.
but he since we drafted him here, you know he's been a receiver one even after right when Brady left to go to Tampa Bay and we had Cam Newton for those years.
But that was a long. That's a long time in between then and now for us to have a number one.
Well,
Which
yeah,
means
now we
haven't had a,
don't. Yeah, now we don't.
but we haven't had a number one since Julian Edelman. That's pretty. You know what I'm saying? That's a long drought.
Yeah, but the question was, when was the last time we had a receiver one? And I just said Julian
Yeah.
Edelman.
Yeah. So for us as fans to hold it against the current regime, to get a number one, which I feel that we need, myself included. If you really think about it, we haven't had a number one in what,
Yep. Yep.
7, 8 years.
Yep.
Jacoby Myers, I mean, God bless him. He he did the best he could. He wasn't a number one,
Right. Right. Okay.
but I mean, he was very productive in our system.
Yeah.
But any of the guys we just mentioned, although they're again advanced in age, would come into Gillette and automatically be a number one receiver.
Okay. I guess you could put it that way, but
Well,
but
think about it. If we draft McMillan or Hunter, which I'm hoping we draft one of those two guys,
right.
they still need a veteran opposite them, like a Hollins.
Yep.
So if we draft one of those two guys and then we got Hollins, okay, the Hollins signing to me, I give it probably a B plus.
Okay. All right. All right. So that clears it up for the Collins. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I don't know where he projects.
Yeah, you're right.
If we
Okay.
go and get uh, the offensive lineman if we draft him number 4, so what does that make Mac Hollins in our system now?
Right. I got you.
That's all I'm trying to say. I don't know where he projects in our system. What
Yeah.
number?
Yeah. Okay. Well, as for Carlton Davis, right? You give it a plus.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Move. Last but not least, there's more signings that we could cover, but for the sake of time, let's just cover these people. Harold Landry. Now, you guys know because I made a video about this a couple, weeks ago prior to free agency, right? I wanted Harold Landry to begin with. Sure, he had an injury last year. He's coming off an injury, but the dude had 9 sacks last year. The dude had 9 sacks. Now, it's not like he had like 20, but he was productive. He was productive, bro. And I give this another. You know what? Let me not say A plus because I already know people are gonna say, "Oh, you casual, you delusional." Nah, but I really like this, so I'm just gonna give it an A because since we traded Matthew Judon to the Falcons, we hadn't had like a really solid or a nice edge rusher. But I love this because he's gonna be like another veteran who is familiar with Mike Vrabel and Terrell Williams, you know, and he's gonna get to the quarterback. He's not gonna, and not to mention, he is still in his prime. Now we don't know how he's gonna bounce back because as I mentioned before, he came off a season-ending injury, but the dude was able to rack up 72, yeah, 72 tackles with 9 sacks, and I don't have the full stats here, right? But I do love this, and I hope Harold Landry the best.
I like it. I'm gonna go with a B plus on that one.
Fair.
Like it a lot. But if you couple that with the signing of what's his name, Chason,
Who?
his last name is Chason that we got from the Raiders.
Oh, you're talking about the what?
Khalid,
Hold on, hold on. I'm gonna look it up right now. It is Kalavion Chason. Yes, his name is Kalavion Chason, defensive end that we got from the Raiders. Go ahead, bro.
yeah. So what it says here is he was the number 20 overall pick when he was drafted,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a lot of potential, but never lived up to it. I mean, we all know what potential is. Something that you haven't lived up to. You have the ability, but haven't lived up to it. That's what potential is. Not
Right,
that I'm trying to tell anybody what the definition of potential is.
right, right,
I'm just
right.
trying to basically say that if he can reclaim what made him a number one overall pick, especially coupled with the depth that we have on our defense now, from all accounts that I've read, sounds like it could be a pretty big signing, like
Right,
an underrated signing.
right, right. All right. Now, moving on. Let's talk about the draft. Now, this is one that we are heavy on big time, as we talked about in our previous, phone calls behind the camera. You know, this draft is full of defensive line talent. You got a lot of running backs in this year's draft who is very deep. And you got a lot of offensive tackles here in this year's draft. Will Campbell, Josh Simmons, and many more others, and Emory Jones, which is my high favorite in this year's draft. There's another guy that shout out to Seth the Pats fan from TikTok that told me about the kid from Oregon, left tackle. Now I want to talk a little about like draft picks here. As I got the draft order here
Yep.
from ours. So we got of course, we got the fourth pick. We got uh the 38th pick in the second round. We got two third round picks, and then we got the 106th pick in the fourth round, and then we got the 144th pick in the fifth round, and we got three seventh round picks. Now, right, I think I could tell what you're gonna say. Oh, we got all these picks, but we couldn't trade for a player, right? Go ahead.
Not necessarily. It depends on how high of a draft pick, because we still have to pay these players, especially if we're talking receivers.
Right.
The top flight receivers we're talking about, we're talking anywhere between 25 and possibly 30 to $35 million a year.
Okay.
So if you want my number four overall pick, and I got to pay the guy 25 to $35 million a year, that's a tall ask.
If we're gonna draft a offensive line, especially in the first round, at least trade down because there is most likely that he's gonna fall that far.
To me, if this draft is so deep in offensive linemen, this is just me. I feel more comfortable drafting in the second or third round, drafting an offensive lineman if it's that deep in offensive linemen. Um, because I can always get my receiver in round one and get my offensive lineman in round two.
Yeah.
Or if we're gonna trade back, like you're saying, if we're gonna trade back a few spots, I keep forgetting this tight end's name from Penn State that I
Oh,
keep hearing is a
Tyler
beast.
Warren. Tyler Warren.
Yeah,
But he's projected to go in the first round, and like,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
But if we could trade back into the first, trade back in the first round, gain some more assets, and still grab him, because I'm hearing he's Gronk like.
yeah,
If we can grab that type of an offensive weapon, I'm with that too. If we're gonna trade back, but if we're drafting at four, I want Ted McMillan or Travis Hunter
yeah.
or Abdul Carter, and after that, I'm probably trading out of that spot if I can't get one of those guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because we talked about because the Patriots they want to draft the best player available. That's what they want to do, at least from what we've been hearing.
Mm.
They want to draft the best player available because the mistake that Elite Wolf made last year was drafting out of need. You don't want to do that. Sure, you want to draft the player that you need at that position, but you don't want to just draft. Oh, he's a wide receiver. Let's get him. We need a receiver. So, oh, he played receiver. Let's get him. Or oh, he played offensive line in college, and he was the left tackle in his senior year prior to the draft. Oh, let's get him. No, if you're gonna draft somebody at a position that you need, you have to look at the best player there. Maybe if it is Will Campbell, or if it's a receiver one, maybe it is Ted McMillan or Travis Hunter or whoever you want. But as long as you look at his film, as long as you look at the player that he is on and off the field, that's gonna contribute to his playing in the NFL, and that's gonna result to his playing and his skill set. Moving on real quick in our last segment here. Um, Look, I've been seeing a lot of these mock drafts here. So we got in this mock draft, we got Cam Ward, as we were talking earlier about. Here, let me put this bigger. We got Cam Ward going number one. Now this is just assuming if the teams ahead of us take quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Browns taking Shador Sanders. You got the Giants taking Jackson Dart. And boom, we got the Patriots taking Abdul Carter. I don't hate this, but look where Travis Hunter falls. Number 5 with the Raiders. And look at where Tech McMillan falls with the Jets.
I don't hate that either. I don't hate that either. Um, like I said, my for me as a fan who goes to games and watches, I'd like to see Ted McMillan, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, or maybe even Ted, then Abdul Carter, then Travis Hunter.
Okay.
Maybe in that order. So I don't hate it either. I don't hate it either.
Okay. Yeah. Now there's this other mock draft here, right? I'm gonna be honest though. This one, it's not. It's kind of similar to what we had this one, but this one, of course, you got Cam Ward going number 1, Shador going number 2, but this time you got Travis Hunter going to the New York Giants, and we still get a Duke Carter, but this time Will Johnson, which is the best CB in this year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Tech McMillan is not even on here, or is he? Let me look in here real quick because there's no. Oh, he goes to the Broncos at pick 20.
He falls that far in
Yeah,
this mock draft.
yeah, in this mock draft. This is weird because you got a guy that is, supposedly wide receiver 1 in this year's
Mm-hmm.
draft. And yeah, the Broncos, they do need, like, a number 1 as well. They got Cortland Sutton, which, he's a number 1 for them. At least that's what I think. Um, but what I don't, like about this is that, right? This is just assuming if, if this was to happen, right? If the Giants take, Travis Hunter, that leaves us with a Duke Carter and, you know, Will Campbell and pretty much Tech McMillan. Many people will not agree with this. Maybe you will not agree to this. I'm gonna take Tech McMillan at pick 4, despite a Dual Carter being there. What do you think?
Well, in that case, hmm, that's a tough one. Like I was telling you earlier, I want Tech, but people keep saying Abdul Carter is a game wrecker. They're saying if he's there on the board, you don't pass him up. You got to take him. So yeah, I'm not upset with that. I would take him, but me as a fan who watches and I just really want to see us have somebody dynamic on offense. I would love to see us grab Tet, but if Abdul Carter is there when we're drafting, you know what? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Then our defense should be all set,
Okay.
all
Facts.
set,
Facts.
done.
Yep.
Every other pick should be on offense.
Right. Okay. Now, moving on to our last mock draft of the first round, we got a Dual Carter going number 1 to the Titans. We got Cam Ward going number 2 to the Cleveland Browns. And then we got Travis Hunter going to the Giants at number 3. We got Will Campbell going to us. And I'm looking at the 6th round because, the Raiders are there. They're taking Tech McMillan. Now, the reason why we're naming just these players is because these are players that, I like personally. I mean, he likes, he's really high on Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter and Tech McMillan,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But, you know, the only situation where I see this happening is because I see that Tech is going to the Raiders in this mock draft. Is if, okay, somebody trades for Jacoby Myers. Maybe it's us, you know? Maybe a third, fourth round pick, maybe, for Jacoby Myers. What do you think?
I'm figuring probably fourth or fifth for Jacoby.
Okay. All right, fair. Fair. Now, the thing is, right, because I see that Ashton Genty is going to the Broncos at pick 20. there's a guy that I'm cool with on TikTok. His name is Denver Trav. Shout out to Denver Trav. He's a Broncos fan, and he loves Ashton Genty. And the Broncos, they need a running back, heavy. The problem I have with this mock draft is Ashton Genty falling to 20. I don't think it's realistic. I'm gonna say why, because you got a guy that is the best running back in this year's draft. You got teams like the Cowboys who are picking at 12, and you got the 49ers that are picking at 11, just ahead of them. You know, those teams need a running back because okay, the 49ers got Christian McCaffrey, but can Christian McCaffrey stay healthy? And, knowing the 49ers, they're good at drafting,
Mm-hmm.
unlike us, at least for this past few years, except for Drake May though. And but hey, this is a new regime. I'm just being optimistic, but I think this year is gonna change. We could talk about that at closing, but I don't think that Ashton Jetty falls that low because I think like the teams like the Saints, the the 49ers and the Cowboys, they need a running back. So if I see someone like Ashton Genty saying that we need a running back, for example, I'm gonna take him. I'm taking him because
You mean for New England?
yeah, I'm just saying, for example, if we needed a running
Mm-hmm.
back, if he's on the board still, oh, I'm taking him, bro. But I don't know. I just don't see him falling to 20.
No, you made a good point about those teams that you mentioned needing running backs. San Francisco, their entire offense goes through Christian McCaffrey.
Right, right,
So, if the number one running back in the draft is available, I would imagine you got to take him. For us, we have so many other needs. I want us to get another running back, but I don't want us to spend our first or second round pick on a running
I
back.
got you.
He'd
Yep.
have to be like pretty dynamic
Right,
for
right,
me for us to warrant drafting a running back in the first or second round
right,
when
right,
offensive line and wide receiver are higher on our priority list than running back.
right, right, right.
I'd much rather see us get wide receiver one or offensive lineman.
Now you hear me say right prior to us filming, right, that it's not the worst thing in the world for the Patriots to draft a running back.
Right.
Now, because of the fact that this year's running back class is real deep, get one to for depth, you know, because you know you already got Ramondre, you got Antonio Gibson, and and maybe Jamichael Hasty probably gets cut in training camp, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe they add him to the practice squad, but add him for depth because you want your running back room to be elite. I feel like any position on the team should be elite. Any because you can't have a good product on the field if none of the rooms are fit or or elite. Kind of like you see in Philadelphia. The Eagles got a good offense, good offensive line, talented quarterback in Jalen Hurts. They got AJ Brown and wide receiver and Devontae Smith, and not to mention they got Saquon Barkley. Yeah, yeah, bro. And then I look at another team like the Ravens, who got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They got a nice tight end room and Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and you know the receiver core is not that bad. They got Zay Flowers and
D Hop, right?
yep. Not to mention they just signed DeAndre Hopkins. Yes, you know, and I look at their defense as well. They got Humphrey. I look at Humphrey. Oh, Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton, their
Mm-hmm.
safety. I yeah, yeah. I look at teams like that. Those teams are who has a good offense and defense. They're the ones that deserve to be in the Super Bowl and everything else. And the thing is, right? I see what Mike Vrabel is doing here. But if we're talking about the whole free agency again, right? He, defense does win championships. Defense does win games as well. But it goes back to the offense. We need to score points. All positions need to lock in. It's not a one man show. It's a team sport. Now, the thing is, right? If we go defensive lineman, not bad at all.
Mm.
You shouldn't, you shouldn't. There's so many needs. It goes back to like what you're saying. There's so many needs that we need to fill. But I look at on the offense of the holes because I feel like we already took in care of the holes on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about holes on offense, yes, there is a lot of holes we need to fill. And of course, it goes back to what we're saying about it doesn't think about it like this. Excuse me. You're not gonna turn around in one season, right? This season kind of proved it. That we had to suffer. Please don't remind me of it. PTSD all over again. We got the police escort to come get Gerard Mayo out of the stadium. But, however, yeah. By the way, he came up with that. So, nah. But overall, just if we just take care of now we got to take care of the center position, which Ben Brown or Cole Strange might step up, get a left guard, and get a left tackle, receiver one, and I say we're good to go.
Well, I don't know if you recall, but I told you this last year.
Go ahead.
Is that for us to be successful, you have to be able to stop the run. You have to be able to run the ball. Especially
Yep.
having a new head coach last year, new first time offensive coordinator, rookie quarterback, rookie defensive play caller. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to be able to stop the run.
Exactly.
We didn't do either of those last year.
Yep. And we were ranked 32nd, worst in the league, bro.
Guess what? If there were more teams, we'd be ranked lower.
Oh yeah.
So, week one against Cincinnati was what you call fool's gold.
Okay. Yep.
We came out on all cylinders. I mean, the defense was flying all over the field. I was like, whoa, okay, I like this. I like how we're playing. And there was no consistency the rest of the year, except for maybe the Bears game. I think it was
Yep.
when what was it, 19-3 game or something.
Yep. 19-3. Yep.
That was the only other game to me where they really stepped up. I mean, there was maybe two more games, but
There
that
was
one
the
was the
Jets
most
game.
evidence.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
the Jets game, and there was yeah, there was not many others, but oh well, the Cincinnati game, if you want to, but
Yeah,
go
but I
ahead.
mean, like after Cincinnati and the Bears, there weren't too many more games where there was any consistency.
Oh yeah.
So the way we're constructed right now through free agency, the moves that we've made are solidifying that defense. So it's going to be very difficult for teams to run on us,
Exactly. Yeah.
which I'm thrilled about. Teams are going to have a very difficult time running on us.
Okay.
And with our secondary, the way it's constructed, they're going to have a hard time getting yards on us or scoring on us, period,
Right. Right.
if everything works out according to how it looks on paper.
Right. Right.
So now we just have to do the same thing on offense. We have to be built to run the ball, but we also have to have some offensive weapons. If we get some, say, a Ted McMillan or a Travis Hunter in the first round, but we're able to run the ball effectively, that'll give those rookie receivers a chance to grow in the system
Right.
and come along rather than us needing them right away. Depends on if we keep Kendrick Bourne. Depends on if we keep Kayshawn Booty. We already got um, Hunter Henry rather, and Austin Hooper. We got those guys locked in, and Pop Douglas. So we have to be able to run the ball effectively.
Okay.
Have to. We can't have fumbling. Can't have miscues on offense when the running back gets 17 yards and it has to come back due to a holding penalty or offsides, and the offensive lineman looks at the referee or looks up at the scoreboard all incredulously like, "Who, me?" Like, yeah, dude. They showed the replay. It was you.
Yeah.
Stop. So
Yeah.
got to be able to run the ball effectively.
So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in to episode one. Um, you guys know who I am. Well, prime time, and I got we got Tone with
Big
me.
T.
Yep, Big T. Yep, y'all can call him Big T in the comment section. So let me know down below, guys. Tell me what y'all think. In the meantime, go Pat. Let's go. Boom.